Layering systems come up quite a bit on my Q&A, so I'm going to try to answer this. It certainly won't be under 3 minutes, but I'm going to go over some general ideas on layering systems, things to think about, and things how they might change throughout the season. So when you're looking at a layering system, the number one thing you want to worry about, or that you need to focus on, is that system is supposed to keep your core temperature or your body heat kind of neutral, right? You want it to you don't want to be too hot, you don't want to be too cold, so that layering system helps you dress up or dress down as needed, again, so you don't overheat or get too chilled. So out of the gate, your base layer. First question is going to be, do you want a synthetic or do you want a merino wool or a merino blend base layer? And that's going to be a fairly thin, whether that be a t-shirt or a long sleeve sheet t-shirt, that's going to be a fairly thin piece of clothing. So for me, here you have the Ridgeline Light, which this is a merino wool blend, and this is the Heritage long sleeve tee, which this is a synthetic top. So which one of those do I want to bring? Generally, it really doesn't matter. I'm usually going to bring a synthetic top in warmer weather and a merino in colder weather. For me, the synthetic top dries out faster, so that's just my own opinion. When it's warm out, I can hang it in the sun, it'll dry out pretty quick. Merino, even the blend, does take a little bit longer to dry out, but it does do better when it's wet compared to a synthetic. So something to think about. So wetter, colder type months, I use synthetic, and I use merino blend, and warmer months, I use a synthetic base layer. The next layer up is going to be kind of an intermediate layer. Now that layer, your base layer could have a hood, especially if you're trying to keep sun off of you. But your next layer up, your intermediate layer, is going to be, again, merino or synthetic. It's going to probably have a hood, but maybe not. And it's, going to be a little bit thicker than, the original base layer. So in this case, I've got the Quiver fleece, and we have this in a full zip or a half zip. I don't know if they call that a quarter zip or not. I'm covering up my little handy dandy microphone. And then we have the Ridgeline Heavy. I use this quite a bit in colder weather. And then you have this is the same material. This is the Quiver fleece material in a crew neck. When am I going to wear one of those or the other? So if it's cold, I might wear all of them. But when it's cold, I'm going to wear the synthetic if I'm not looking at wetter weather. And I may use that Ridgeline Heavy as my base layer, not the Ridgeline Light or Heritage, when it gets colder and potentially wet. So you're Oregon, Washington, British Columbia. Any of these will work at any time. I'm going to generally have system 1, system 2 as I'm layering up. So my intermediate layer could be any one of these, but if it's a crew neck, that may actually become my base layer as it gets colder. So which am I going to bring? Same kind of a thing, as far as wet, cold, hot. What I will say is the Ridgeline Heavy generally never comes out for me until it's colder. That Ridgeline Heavy is usually my base layer as it gets colder in the months, but the Quiver is with me all the time. Now, the Quiver half zip with the hood, Quiver full zip with the hood, or the crew. It really just depends, but normally I'm going to bring the one with the hood, the Quiver half or full zip. So that's my intermediate layer. Next up is going to be your puffy layer. And when I say puffy, your insulating jacket. That could be down or synthetic. I really don't mess with down pretty much ever. So you can have, in this case, I have a vest right here, which is the Tundra vest, the Tundra Light, and then I have a Tundra Heavy. I don't have it out because I didn't want to pile clothing everywhere. So which one do I bring? With the Tundra vest, that's usually with, like when I go fly fishing, I use that. I'll stuff that in my pack, or my truck throughout the day. When I'm saying just driving around town, I generally on a backpack hunt won't bring the vest. That's more of an intermediate layer I'll put over like that, the Quiver. But the Tundra Light is with me all the time until pushing towards October, and then I go with the Tundra Heavy. But you always want to have some type of a puffy jacket with you no matter what. And sometimes it does work to put the vest, the Tundra vest, under the Tundra Light, depending upon what kind of layering system you personally like, but always have a puffy jacket. The next up is going to be, this is the barrier jacket. or the Mission Flex rain gear. I would say the Mission Flex rain gear is more, I'm more apt to bring that on a backpack hunt. It's more versatile on a backpack hunt. It's not as heavy. It breaks the wind really well. It also keeps its rain gear. It keeps rain off of you. But the barrier jacket is more versatile all around. It is really, I mean, it's a little heavier, but it works really well with blocking the wind. You know, it's something you can wear, you know, into town, to dinner, to the gym. You can wear it backpack hunting as well. But I usually err to the side of caution towards the rain gear when I'm in the backcountry. And the barrier jacket is one that I would wear. You know, it works a little bit better. It's quieter for sure. Eastern Plains, Colorado, Alberta mule deer, things like that. The barrier is probably going to come with me, where when I go on a backpack hunt, the rain gear is going to come with me. As far as the lower layering system, I just wear either the Frontier Light or heavy pants. You know, as it gets colder or it gets warmer, one way or the other, I just switch from the light to the heavy, or the standard basically. And then as far as thermals go, I really don't ever wear thermal underwear until I'm pushing into November. And it's same thing as before. It's going to be either the Ridgeline, which is a merino blend, or the Quiver, and that's going to depend on the conditions as far as rain or not rain. When it gets really rainy or wet or whatever, I'm going to, you know, kind of err to the side of caution with the Ridgeline and go with the merino. But if it's not, I'm usually going to go with the synthetic. But I don't really wear base layer bottoms very often until it gets cold. I tried to wrap that up as fast as I can, but base layer, intermediate layer, puffy jacket, and then soft shell or rain gear. As you layer up, same thing with the bottoms, same general principle. I hope this helps you out.